Right, so just 12 hours to go as Uttar Pradesh gets set after weeks of polarizing and heated campaigns and personal remarks thrown at each other. The focus primarily tomorrow in phase 1 will be in the western Uttar Pradesh region. Let's take a look at these visuals on your screen. All the big guns of the Bharatiya Janata Party ensuring they appeal to their voters. BJP, Samajwadi Party, RLD, BSP will be eyeing 136 seats. This fiercely fought campaign saw Yogi Adityanath put all possible effort to negate the campaign led by challenger number 1 Akhilesh Yadav and his ally RLD chief Jayant Chaudhary. Yogi Adityanath, while hopeful that he will return, Samajwadi Party all guns blazing and focusing on the failures of Yogi Adityanath government. Congress, meanwhile, focusing its campaign on wooing the women voters with their campaign, remember, Ladki hoon, lad sakti hoon. So here's what you must know. Which are the seats that are heading to elections tomorrow? Because this is phase 1 and this is going to be one of the most crucial battles. Let's begin one by one. Remember, one of the more polarized and sensitive locations was Kairana. In Kairana, BJP's ex-MLA's daughter Priyanka Singh will fight it out against Samajwadi Party's controversial Neta Nahid Hassan. Remember the Kairana exodus controversy of the Hindu traders, and that precisely is what the BJP will want to cash in, and the attack precisely on Nahid Hassan. Kairana is all set for that election, and he's of course refuted all allegations and called it political vendetta. You're looking at SP, BJP and BSP's Rajendra there. In Sardhana, it's the two-way fight between two-time MLA and hardline Hindutva leader Sangeet Som versus Samajwadi Party's Atul Pradhan. The next high-stake battle apart from this, and remember Sangeet Som has also been controversial specifically with regard to the Muzaffarnagar clashes, but UP Minister Shrikant Sharma versus Congress veteran Pradeep Mathur in Mathura. One of the most crucial locations. Remember, Mathura was being connected to Ayodhya. All of that religious campaigning that was done. Mathura all set for a key battle tomorrow. And close to the national capital, Delhi, the city of Noida. BJP sitting MLA and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh's son, Pankaj Singh, is pitted against Congress's Pankhuri Phatak in the fight for Noida. So Noida is going to be very interesting. Pankhuri Phatak, of course, a reference to the 40% women candidature by Congress. Samajwadi Party will be Sunil Chaudhary and BJP will be Pankaj Singh. All these three netas, remember, have done door-to-door campaigns, urged voters in Noida, asking, appealing for votes for their party. All right, let's go across to our reporters on the ground, and Shreya Chatterjee is joining us, and also Abhishek Mishra. Abhishek, first to you. Western Uttar Pradesh is going to be most crucial tomorrow. What are you picking up from the ground? The campaigns are over, but this was the most polarizing, heated campaigns that we had seen in a long time coming in from Uttar Pradesh.
Absolutely, Pooja, and with the start of the first phase of elections of Uttar Pradesh, the battle will get intense further. First phase, it looks like that it's going to be a very important time for the BJP and as well as Samajwadi Party alliance. 623 candidates in the fray, 58 constituencies, and that too battling in that segment or in that particular belt, which is going to be a very challenging for both the parties. Western Uttar Pradesh and all those important seats, be it Kairana, Muzaffarnagar, Agra, Mathura, all those are lying there. It is a very important phase in the terms of what we can expect in the further phases as well. The stakes are very high. SP and the RLD alliance has done a lot of campaign. Akhilesh and Jayant Yadav has done the joint campaign throughout this time, and BJP with the top leadership, be it Amit Shah, JP Nadda, CM Yogi Adityanath and both the deputy chief ministers, including the state chief, has been very active in this belt. But the time is on, and it's hardly a matter of 12 hours when the first phase of voting will begin. It is also very important
Kairana, Noida, Mathura, and because you've been tracking all the latest from the ground, I want to quickly get an update from Agra where Shreya Chatterjee. Shreya, because you've also been touring across the state, what does it look like? We do not know who the voters will eventually bring in, but these netas did all they possibly could whether it was polarizing campaigns, door-to-door campaigns, and that amid the COVID pandemic, BJP trying to return, Samajwadi Party becoming the main challenger, Congress jumping in. What do you see on the ground? Are you expecting a big turnout tomorrow from Uttar Pradesh phase 1?
Well, absolutely so, Pooja. Interesting campaign we saw from all those top brass netas. Remember, if we could just give a brief update of those campaigns. Remember, the Prime Minister had visited Sardana in Meerut. He had inaugurated one of the sports universities there. The MLA over there, Sangeet Som, was present at that very event. We saw Amit Shah then visit Kairana. There was these meetings that were lined up from those family members of those alleged Hindu exodus. That was a polarized campaign that also came in during the course of the election. Agra, if we come into, just a week back, Mayawati hit the ground hoping to turn around the game in Agra, because remember, in 2017 the BJP had snatched away all the 9 seats from the BSP bastion. What happens from here? Because the SP and the RLD as well wants to break the jinx in Agra. But when we talk about the belt of Muzaffarnagar and Baghpat, that is largely dominated by the farmers' protest, because Baghpat is one of those regions which is dominated by sugarcane farmers. So it's an extremely interesting phase that goes into elections tomorrow. All these parties have their different shares from all across these places.
Shreya, stay on with me. Very interesting. I want to take that question to Samarth Srivastav. Samarth, the farm laws being repealed, reaching out to the farmers, reaching out to the Jat voters, reaching out to Western Uttar Pradesh to ensure that they retain their support from 2017. Will they or not? We'll know on 10th of March. But tomorrow, do you think in phase 1 itself, whether it is Mathura, whether it is Kairana or even Noida, are some very crucial seats that the Bharatiya Janata Party will want to retain and Samajwadi Party will want to ensure that they have it, and of course the Congress Party looking for these seats as well?
See, the farmers are going to play a very major role in the first phase.
All right, Samarth, we'll just try and get that audio line back on. Samarth will join us. Remember, our reporters from tomorrow morning, early morning, will be up and about to tell you about how are the voters reacting, what is the long queue or not early morning tomorrow in Uttar Pradesh, one of the most crucial state assembly elections, remember. Now, while the campaigning with regard to phase 1 is over, I want to take you back of how this campaign was. It was Dangavadi, Parivarvadi, to Garmi Nikal Dunga, to CM Hoya compressor. All sorts of reactions were thrown and jibes thrown at each other. And who can forget the Abba Jan and Itra Ke Mitra, all that and more. Take a look at some of the biggest reactions that had come from BJP to Samajwadi Party to the Congress and the BSP here.
कवायद के दिन तक भी तुम्हारी जो है, कयामत के दिन तक भी तुम्हारा ये सपना साकार नहीं होने वाला है, ये मान करके चल लो। लेकिन ये देख लो, 10 मार्च के बाद ये पूरी गर्मी शांत करवा देंगे।
वो आज कह रहे हैं कि गर्मी निकाल देंगे। क्या हमारे मुख्यमंत्री जी कंप्रेसर हैं जो गर्मी निकाल देंगे? क्या मुख्यमंत्री जी वाकई में कंप्रेसर हैं?
वो ऐसे ऐसे बयान दे रहे हैं कि हम, कोई कह रहा है हम गर्मी निकालेंगे, कोई कह रहा है हम चर्बी निकालेंगे। मैं कहना चाहती हूँ कि हम भर्ती निकालेंगे, हम काम कर रहे हैं, हम आपकी समस्याओं के लिए काम कर रहे हैं। उन्हीं को समर्थन दीजिए जो आपकी समस्याओं को के समाधान को सर्वोपरि रखें।
नाम समाजवादी, सोच परिवारवादी और काम दंगावादी, यही तो इनकी पहचान है।
आप भारतीय जनता पार्टी से पूछिए कि उनके जो मुख्यमंत्री थे उन पे कितने मुकदमे थे, उनके डिप्टी सीएम पर कितने मुकदमे थे। अगर दोनों मुख्यमंत्री उप मुख्यमंत्री के अगर हम मुकदमे देख लें तो इतने तो आईपीसी में सेक्शन नहीं है जितने इन पे दोनों पे मुकदमे थे। वो 80% झूठ बोलते हैं, 20% सच बोलते हैं। ये नहीं पता लगा आपको? वो जो 80 और 20 बता रहे हैं, वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी कह रही है कि हम 80% झूठ बोलते हैं, केवल 20% सच होता है हमारा। इस बार जनता समझ गई है, इसीलिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोग कूटे जा रहे हैं। 80% लोग इनसे नाराज हैं, मैं कहता हूं 100% लोग नाराज हैं इनसे।
ये तो 80 बनाम 20 तो है ही। ये चुनाव 80 बनाम 20 जाएगा। और मैंने आपको पहले कहा कि चुनाव होंगे तो आप रिजल्ट दो, 10 मार्च को आने दीजिए। एक तरफ भारतीय जनता पार्टी होगी जो 3/4 से अधिक सीटों को पा करके प्रचंड बहुमत की सरकार बना रही होगी, दूसरी तरफ कांग्रेस, सपा, बसपा ये सभी दल होंगे। ये 20% वे लोग हैं जो राम जन्मभूमि का विरोध करते हैं, काशी विश्वनाथ धाम का विरोध करते हैं, मथुरा वृंदावन के भव्य स्वरूप का विरोध करते हैं। ये 20% वे लोग हैं जो जिनकी पीड़ा माफियाओं के साथ में है, जिनकी पीड़ा पेशेवर अपराधियों के साथ में है, जिनकी संवेदना पेशेवर आतंकवादियों के साथ में है, ये वही लोग हैं।
धर्म भी कभी कभी अंधविश्वास होता है। हाँ। इसलिए सपने में आगे मेरे कुल भगवान है। उत्तर प्रदेश की जनता भारतीय जनता पार्टी का उत्तर प्रदेश से सफाया करेगी। भारतीय जनता पार्टी वाले ये भी समझ लें कि इस बार जनता राधे राधे कहने वाली है उनको, और वो जाने वाले हैं।
हमारे स्वप्न में तो आएंगे, मेरे स्वप्न में नहीं आएंगे तो किसके स्वप्न में आएंगे। और मैं जरूर देखता हूं कि भगवान राम का आशीर्वाद हम पर है, भगवान कृष्ण का भी आशीर्वाद हम पर है। भगवान कृष्ण तो उनको कोसने के लिए जाएंगे कि भाई अब कुछ तो लोक लाज रखो।
To understand what 2022 may look like for Uttar Pradesh, let's take you back to 2017. How was the phase 1 voting pattern in 2017? India Today's Data Intelligence Unit got us this compilation of what really happened just about few years ago when the state went to elections. Take a look at this vote share. We are breaking down different parties in 2017 phase 1. BJP had 53 seats, which means 46% of vote share was with the BJP. The Bahujan Samaj Party, Mayawati's party, 2 seats only, 22% vote share. Akhilesh Yadav's Lal Topi party had 2 seats, 13% vote share. The RLD, which is now in alliance with the SP, only 7% vote share with 1 seat. The Congress party, 7% vote share, but no seat there in the assembly. And can much of it change? This is what you're looking at, the seat share of phase 1 in 2017. How much of it will really change for 2022? That, of course, we'll know on the 10th of March. Let's go across to Samarth Srivastav. Samarth, because in 2017, the voting pattern, yes, highly did favor the Bharatiya Janata Party. But the campaigns that went this time were clearly with challenger Akhilesh Yadav trying to push all effort, and Congress, RLD, all of them together. How do you think it's going to turn out tomorrow? Are you expecting a good voter turnout tomorrow morning? What are you picking up from the ground?
See, it's going to be a bit of change from the results which came in 2017. As per the political pundits of Uttar Pradesh, it is clearly mentioned that during 2017, it was the Modi wave. Now it is going to be worth seeing, is that wave still alive or not? Or if you compare last year's campaigning by Akhilesh Yadav and this year's campaigning by Akhilesh Yadav, or the strategy of previous elections or this election, there is a major difference in that. Akhilesh has joined many smaller groups, many smaller parties together, especially in Western UP. The Jat plus Muslim factor, which plays a very crucial role in Western UP, is going to play a major role this time around too. Though Prime Minister Narendra Modi took back the farm laws, though it may help BJP to a certain amount, but it's going to be a tight fight tomorrow. And if you talk about the polling, then we may expect some polling, as obviously all political leaders, including CM Yogi, Akhilesh Yadav, all are urging public to cast their votes, to use their vote in the right direction. So it's going to be worth seeing. But if you talk about Western UP, then yes, Jat plus Muslim factor is going to play a major role. And if this factor remains intact, then it's going to help Samajwadi Party to a vast level, while BJP has also went down to ground and did door-to-door campaigns. JP Nadda, CM Yogi Adityanath, Rajnath Singh, Amit Shah himself has went door-to-doors. It's not just about one district, they have covered almost every district. And just like that, the two brothers scenario in Uttar Pradesh, Jayant Chaudhary and Akhilesh Yadav.
And of course, that is what this democracy is about. Will Yogi Adityanath manage to retain his position, or they will be a surprise from the challengers? And of course, we will have it all geared up for you from tomorrow morning. But it's been a heated campaign, and therefore, you know, all sorts of shifts and changes have taken place in the past few days. I want to show to you how this time the candidates that are heading for Uttar Pradesh elections from across the parties are actually crorpatis and millionaires, multi-millionaires. And what is really the moolah here of these candidates? Let me bring you that. Very interesting. About 280 crorepati candidates are right now contesting for Uttar Pradesh election. 55 crorepati candidates from the Bharatiya Janata Party. The richest, so to say, right now is the BJP. The Bahujan Samaj Party is not far behind. About 50 crorepati candidates from Mayawati's party. The Congress closely following it with 32. And Aam Aadmi Party also with 22 at this point. The RLD and the Samajwadi Party 28 and 23. We are looking at the Congress Party, 32 crorepati candidates, RLD 28. So all parties in total, I can tell you, 3.72 crore rupees is the average asset of some of these candidates. So this is the money part of it. What about the muscles? Because sadly, there are still candidates who have tainted record, criminal records, or at least are facing a jail term, are in prison, or have some other issues. 156 candidates with criminal cases. 121 candidates with serious criminal charges. 29 criminal candidates are from the Bharatiya Janata Party. From the Samajwadi Party, no far less, 21 candidates facing criminal charges. From the Congress Party, for now, there are 21. BSP has 19. RLD, 17 candidates with charges. But specifically, crime against women, 12 candidates from different parties are facing these charges, and attempt to murder is on 30 cases, while 6 have cases of murder against them. 31 seats are where 3 or more candidates have criminal cases against them. So that is what it looks like across different parties, money and muscle.